All right, so I was finally able to get home yesterday and I have time to make this video. So this past Monday on Monday Night Raw was part 2 of the WWE Draft, so I wanted to talk about my thoughts on it. So let's get right into it. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's JLD and we're back at it again with another video for you guys today. This past Monday on Monday Night Raw was the WWE Draft Part 2, and I think it was a little better than SmackDown personally after reviewing the draft picks and just watching a little bit of the show, but I'll be honest, I didn't watch the entire show because I was traveling for work. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out part 1 of my YouTube series of the WWE Draft this year of Friday Night Smackdown. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. It should be right here. So after Friday's abysmal WWE Draft this past Friday, well, last Friday on SmackDown, Monday Night Raw had a lot to put up with and redeem themselves on. And I will say they delivered, but the concept still stands. Why do we have people who are staying on their same brands as announcements for drafts? And once again, I understand they're doing it in a pool fashion where there's just a whole pool of wrestlers and they just pick who they want rather than having the same brands and they just pick between each other. But either way, this past Monday on Raw, they had 6 rounds of draft picks versus SmackDown's 4. And of course, after the show, they had some last second draft picks also. And just like in my last video, we're going to be going through each of the rounds, who announced them, and the picks afterwards, and my thoughts afterwards at the end. So in the same concept as before, each round had 4 different draft picks. So for round 1, it was announced by Stephanie McMahon. And for round 1, they had Imperium drafted to Raw, Jade Cargill drafted to SmackDown, Damage Control moving over to Monday Night Raw, and Kevin Owens on SmackDown. So the same concept again, 3 people staying on their brands, 1 team, the Women's Tag Team Champions, moving over to Monday Night Raw. Now, if you wanted my honest opinion, I feel like whoever's the Women's Tag Team Championship should be able to defend it on both Raw and SmackDown and shouldn't have to be locked into a specific brand unless they're gonna make tag teams for the men, like a SmackDown tag team titles, Raw tag team titles. Why don't you have separate ones for each brand? But that's for a whole nother video. Let's keep right into round 2. So round 2 was announced by Logan Paul and IShowSpeed returning once again after WrestleMania. And for round 2, CM Punk stays on Raw, The Pride, Bobby Lashley, and the Street Profits stay on SmackDown, Braun Strowman returns to Monday Night Raw, and Tiffany Stratton stays on SmackDown. And I'm really excited with Braun Strowman returning back into WWE because with the whole Wyatt family stuff and with Uncle Howdy making his return and Eric Rowan signing with WWE, they're putting all the puzzle pieces together very quickly. But technically, there are no actual drafts in this round. Also, later on the night, Jey Uso was about to get punched in the face by Logan Paul with Pat Mahomes' Super Bowl rings, but Braun Strowman went and made his return, which was absolutely surprising. Round 3 of the WWE Draft was announced by JBL and Ron Simmons, the APA, with the LWO officially moving over to Monday Night Raw, the Legado del Fantasma going to SmackDown, staying on SmackDown. We have Drew McIntyre staying on Monday Night Raw, and we have Shinsuke Nakamura moving to Friday Night Smackdown. Now, this is interesting because the LWO and the Legado del Fantasma have been fighting for a while on SmackDown, so I wonder if they're just going to completely split them up and do different storylines, or if there's going to be like interpromotional stuff still until they finally get to the end of their story, whatever they're doing. But with Carlito destroying Dragon Lee backstage, let's see what happens. And as far as Shinsuke Nakamura, I hope they do something more with him because I feel like on Monday Night Raw, he was just being used to bring up other talent. Round 4 of the WWE Draft was announced by Alundra Blaze and Teddy Long, with round 4 consisting of the Judgment Day staying on Monday Night Raw, Naomi staying on SmackDown, Ilya Dragunov being drafted from NXT up to the main roster, which was very exciting and awesome for him, which also makes sense why he lost the NXT title to Trick Williams. And finally, for Friday Night Smackdown, Piper Niven and I'm kind of upset over Piper and Chelsea going to SmackDown because Samantha can no longer do her announcements. It's going to be ridiculous hearing Chelsea Green's normal tone for her voice. Like, can we petition Samantha Irvin to also draft to SmackDown, please? Just please. Round 5 was announced by the Dudley Boys, with Monday Night Raw getting the New Day, Pretty Deadly staying on SmackDown, Lyria Valkyria going to Monday Night Raw, so that was pretty awesome, and Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell going to Friday Night Smackdown, which I don't understand personally because they were just feuding with Maxine and Ivy Nile, so what was the whole point of that? And they're a whole tag team and they were already having feuds with each other, so what? And then for the final round of the WWE Draft, round 6, we had Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis take the stage for the final draft picks, with the Final Testament moving to Monday Night Raw. We have DIY moving to SmackDown, which I don't understand because I was happy with them and R-Truth and The Miz being like a whole friend group and everything with, you know, DX and everything. we have Bronson Reed staying on Monday Night Raw, and we have Blair Davenport being drafted from NXT to Friday Night Smackdown. I think one of the biggest draft picks that happened this night on Raw was Braun Strowman returning to Monday Night Raw and Ilya Dragunov going from NXT over to Monday Night Raw. And after seeing Dragunov on Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, I think it was pretty apparent that eventually they were trying to train him and see how he would do in the main Raw roster. And I think it succeeded. So out of 24 people that were drafted, 11 were actual brand changes. So a little better than Friday Night Smackdown, but still same concept, guys. If you're doing a WWE draft, like, have it where it's only the people that are actually switching brands. It doesn't make sense to like say, oh, DIY staying on Monday Night Raw or Bronson Reed staying on Raw. Like, we know they're staying. Nothing changes. But compared to Friday Night Smackdown, it was a much better WWE draft on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. And of course, after Raw went off the air, on social media, WWE announced that there were extra draft picks as well, with SmackDown getting Apollo Crews, Giovanni Vinci, as well as Tegan Knox, and Monday Night Raw getting Dijak from NXT, New Catch Republic, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile, Odyssey Jones, and Natalia. Which, again, you could have used some of these people as announcements for the real show if they were actually moving to other brands, which it seems like there were a few others. So what was the point of saying that other people are staying on their same brands? It's also interesting seeing Giovanni Vinci on his own outside of Imperium going to Friday Night Smackdown, so I want to see what they do with him and build him up as. Apparently, there's rumors going on that on Friday Night Smackdown, they might have a switch or an exchange of some superstars before it's actually locked in next Monday, but we'll have to find out tonight. Or it could possibly be on Backlash in France. But anyway, guys, these are my thoughts and review of the WWE draft this past Monday on Raw. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, that way you get some of the best wrestling content possible. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and a like. A lot of my work travel is finally finished, so I can finally really grind on YouTube. We're going for YouTube partner, guys, so make sure you check out our videos, watch them as much as you can, and let's just spread the love out there. Let's get it.